Hey, what's up everybody? Questions and answers, here you go. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Wally's Welding World. I'm the Weld Professor. You got the questions, let's go over some answers. So, first up, I got my little book here. Wanted to go ahead and give the shout outs, as I'm reading the questions. So our first shout out goes to Jorden Welding, or I think that's how I say it, so if I butcher your name, sorry.
What's the best way to always stay busy with work?
Alright, so the question is, the best way to stay busy with this work, man, is going out there and chasing the work. So pretty much work is your key word right there, work. If you're not putting in the work to get the work, you're not going to have the work. So for instance, if you're sitting on your butt at home on the couch and you're flipping through the channels and you're flipping through your Instagram, you're not putting in the right work. You got to go out there and you got to be stepping in the doors for the people that are doing the type of work that you're doing, putting your face in their face and giving them your specialties, your qualifications, whatever you do best, and that's how you're going to keep the work in front of you. Question comes from 6 Ovan.
What's a ballpark price to break out as a rig welder?
Okay, so it's going to be different for everybody for a ballpark price to break out as a rig welder. If you have good credit, you could probably do it on a really low budget. If you don't have the best credit, you might have to do like I did in the beginning and get a co-signer. Don't be afraid to ask, your friends and your family to help you out. You might need a co-signer. So for ballpark figure, I think I did it for about, I want to say about $7,000 I broke out. And that was pretty much because I put $5,000 down on a machine, or $2,000 down on a $5,000 machine, $2,000 down on a $8,000 truck, and then I paid an extra couple $1,000, like 20 something hundred, to the guy to get some kind of tools and equipment. So you're roughly looking about under $6,000. If you really want to go about it that way, and that's just to get the truck and just to get the machine and kind of get the little bit of basic tools like some leads and maybe a couple torches. So I hope that helps you out, man. But if you want to spend the pretty penny, that's on you. Our next question comes from 956_1320. What do we got?
How many years do you have in combo welding? And what did you invest in your rig with everything you need to work?
Okay, so that's a big question and a lot of questions. So for years of combo welding experience I have, I wouldn't say it's the entire welding career experience I have, but I probably have a good 12 years of combo welding experience where I've done TIG MIG or TIG stick, or whatever it was like that. In order to build my rig, like you heard me in the first one, it kind of started off low, but as I got into building my other rig and my other truck up, it cost me a little bit more. Take into consideration, you're going to have to pay for the beveling machines, you're going to have to pay for the grinders, you're going to have to pay for everything really to get out the gate right away. Your hoses, your leads, your stingers, your grounds. If you don't have beveling machines, you're going to have to invest in some kind of a beveling machine. You don't want to be out there with a wraparound zip disc in it every time. So that's, just a handful of basic tools that you're going to need. And to do that, to have all that was a pretty penny, I'm not going to lie. At that point now, you're looking up into the more $10,000 to $20,000 to obtain something like that, maybe even $30,000, depending on where you're getting your tools from. My next question is from Texas Asphalt, and what's he got?
What do the numbers mean on a welding rod? 60-18 for an example.
So sometimes rods are all different from all different variations. I know that you can Google what it means, and I've done that before, and I know that they say usually the number at the beginning is just to indicate what kind of electrode rod it is. I think it's an E usually that shows up, and so the E is usually the electrode letter right off the bat. The next numbers up are the tensile strength of the welding rod. So for instance, if it's a 70-18, 70 is going to be I think pound per inch, so it's square feet there, and it's 70,000 tensile strengths is what it comes out to, such on and so forth. 80-10 or 80-18 is 80,000 tensile strength, and then usually the next numbers that pop up usually indicate if it's a rod that can be burned AC or DC, or it can be burned both. So I hope that helps you out. Next question comes from Sky Fishin. What you got?
When you ran SA 700s, did your fine adjustment work down? By the way, mine didn't.
So every machine's different, and sometimes when your low amperages aren't working, your armature gets glazed over from your brushes, and so you're going to need to take a either a flapper disc. I wouldn't suggest a flapper disc, but if it's all you got, take something that's kind of gritty, like some grip tape, and you're going to have to soften up your armature. You're going to have to get it shining back up to being bronze looking again, you know, or copper looking, because if you look at it right now, it's probably looking purplish, and that's usually your first indication to start there if it's breaking arc. That's been my experience with the machines. All right, our next question comes in from Jasper 1889.
What size lead do you use for 6010 open root? What size land?
Oh yeah, land.
My bad.
No good, read again.
What size land do you use for a 6010 open root?
So it's really going to depend if you're using an 1/8 inch or a 5/32. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but you know, it's a formula. Whatever size gap you have is the size landing you have. So if you have a 332 gap, you want to have a 332 landing. Now, if you're slammed up, you probably don't want to have a landing at all. That's the best advice I can give to you for having a landing and following the formula. Whatever size gap is what size landing you need to have. All right, our next question comes in from Lane Justice 45.
What machine would you prefer to get?
Well, there's a lot of machines out there, and I truly feel like every machine serves a different purpose. So if you're wanting to do a specific type of welding, that's kind of really where you need to lean towards as far as your welding machine. Now, say you want to go out there and you want a pipeline, we'll look into some of them really cool pipeline machines they got out there. For instance, I like, you know, multiple machines. From my very top machines I love is the classic 2 Deutz diesel engine. Right after that is the Pipeliner 200D with the Kubota engine in it, and so on and so forth. Now, there's a lot of great other machines out there. Watch out, Maya! Hi, Maya! And there's a lot of other great machines.
We're still going.
Next question coming in today is actually from Cool Welds.
Any advice for a union apprentice iron worker?
Man, my advice for you would nose to the grindstone. You know, when you get out there and you start working around people being an apprentice, they're not going to appreciate you. And so my advice, man, is just work hard. You know, sometimes they say work smarter, not harder. Well, in those kind of situations, you really got to work hard. You do. You got to really prove yourself and prove your worth, and people aren't going to really show you respect and care about you until you work hard and you show them that you're a hard worker. And then maybe you're going to start earning a little bit of respect from people. But that's my advice, man. If you're just an apprentice and you're just starting out, work as hard as you can, do a good job, don't half-ass it, show up with a smile, end your day with a smile. All right, our next question comes in from Whammy Yo. What you got, Whammy Yo?
Where did you get your awesome stamp?
Oh, so my stamp actually that I got came from Buckeye Engraving. Buckeye Engraving is, I believe, based out of Ohio. If he's not, it's Idaho. It's one of those places. But he's got a good little business. I've actually purchased 3 stamps from him before. One of them I kind of messed up, so I had to purchase another one. But yes, and also just look into also maybe stamps. You might be able to find another person that has the same kind of business, but maybe either close to you or better prices. You know, so you don't always go with me because the prices that I choose for the stuff that I do might not be in your budget. So just do your research and Google, you know, stamps. You know, might be able to find something nicer. All right, our next question comes in from Aaron Marshall.
What size leads? And is Ultraflex good or mixed leads?
Now, I would just stick to Ultraflex if you got Ultraflex. Now, it's okay if you have to mix your leads, but as far as like size, it really depends on how long you're going to be running your leads every day, how much heavy work you're going to be doing. For instance, the heavier the work you're doing, the heavier lead you're going to want. The lighter duty of work you're doing, the lighter of lead you're going to want. Me, I carry about a 1/0 lead. It's perfect enough for me for the things that I do. As far as I've always just had that style of lead, that type of lead. So Ultraflex 1/0 has always been my favorite. That's what I run on my rig, and I'd give it a shot, especially if you're just doing, you know, most of the work like I do, which is either facility maintenance or just, you know, odds and end type of work. All right, our next comes in from niustro. I hope that's your name.
What's your favorite grinder and what lasts the longest?
So I've gone through a lot of grinders, but there are some grinders out there that I haven't used, that I haven't put to the test. So I can't say that I've used all the grinders, but what I have used and it's worked for me is DeWalt. I've always liked DeWalt. I used to use Makita. I liked Makita. I don't see nothing wrong with Makita. I don't see nothing wrong with DeWalt. I switched to DeWalt because I was able to get the warranty better. That's pretty much why I switched to DeWalt. At the time, I was getting real good warranty on DeWalt, so I continued to use them because when they died on me, I just went and got a new one. So my advice is DeWalt. Plus, I'm Walter, so DeWalt, it all just kind of works for me. All right, our next question comes in from Villin777 because he's pretty lucky.
Is there a lot of work in Colorado?
You know, there is a lot of work in Colorado. Now, I can't say it's overwhelming work to where everybody's trying to get everybody on. It's not booming, for instance, but there is work out here. You do see people working. The work is out there. Don't think for a second the work's not out there. The work is out there. The only difference between having work and not having work is just getting off your ass and going out there and getting it. Plain and simple. If you're sitting around and you're not doing anything, you're just shooting videos, you probably ain't getting the work. All right, guys. Our next question comes in from Cool87Y.
Advice on being a welder if I don't have money to go to school.
So my advice would be kind of what I did. Find you a place that's willing to take you under their wing and just give you an opportunity to get in the shop and just start working and work from that angle. I mean, I started off at pushing a broom, sweeping up the shop, showing the interest, and working that angle because I didn't have the money to go to school. I really didn't even have any kind of direction on what to do. I was a high school dropout, so if you don't have the money and you're looking for the options, you got YouTube here with multiple platforms of people showing you how to weld. Pick that up, take heed to that. There's a lot out there. A lot of people that have been doing it for years, getting into it. I haven't really got into it, but I'm going to be really getting into it now that we have the time to be shooting film for you. But find a place that wants to just give you an opportunity to start you out at some base pay where you have an opportunity to excel in the company. That's my best advice. Get yourself in a company where there's room to grow with it. That'll be your best shot at becoming a welder. Our next question comes in from Joey Novelli. I hope that's your name.
Best way to get into the oil field welding?
The best way to get out here is creating relationships, knowing people, not only people, but companies. Do your research, know where the companies are, know where the people that are working for those companies are. Go out there and establish a relationship with people and show your face. It's going to be 100% based off relationship. Every job I've ever got was based off a relationship. If I didn't get the job based off a relationship, it was probably luck. But for most of the time, for my welding career, since I started off, was who's hiring, who's got the work. So start asking who's got the work, who's hiring. Our next question comes in from Suggs. What you got, Suggs?
Do you ever get Canadians for your course?
I have not yet, mostly I think because of the pandemic, but I have had people show the interest from Canada, so I'm more than welcome you Canadians, and I'm more than welcome anybody else in the world that wants to come out and learn from me. I'd be more than happy to show you my skills, my techniques, and set you up on a good career path and direction with my advice. All right, our next question comes in from Wavy Angel. I'm thinking it's Angel because it's XL. Maybe just Wavy angxl.
Tips to join the pipeline if you don't know anyone.
So my best advice is kind of what I gave the guy before, is you really need to put yourself in the places where it's happening. I wouldn't say the bar, but you know, there is connections there, but I wouldn't suggest that going to be there to do business. People aren't going to the bar to do business. They're going there to relax and forget about business. So I don't suggest going to the bars to look for business, but you know, there's also social clubs and events that kind of hold, you know, these conferences and these workshops where everybody's mingling and talking about work. So just do your research again and seek those things out. And again, ask your friends. You know, ask your friends who's hiring, who does this, who does that. It's all about word of mouth most of the time. So you need to be constantly asking it if you want it. Manifest it. Our next question comes in from Jake Gryann.
Do you make an hour and I want to become a welder? Where do I start?
All right, so again, I'm going to go back to where to start for a welder. I said you need to look for something like that to learn the basic skills of anything. Now, as far as I make, I started off at like $9 an hour sweeping the floors in the shop. I think when I left the oil and gas industry as a contractor, I was up there like around $90 an hour. So the money really depends on you. My prices now are different because I'm a different kind of contractor now. I don't third-party contract for a company and work as like their employee. I'm more of like just a third-party contractor where I'm just third-party working. And so that's my advice for you, man. you want to try to get into this industry, you got to fully get into it and surround yourself and be about it, because if you're not, then you're not really serious about it. You want to take it serious, get serious about it. Our next question comes in from 420 Moto Man. What do you got, man?
Is that you that had the cooler full of money?
Yeah, that was me that uploaded the picture of the cooler full of money, bro. That was me. All right, our next question is El Belico 3.
Is the oil fields down right now, or is it pumping?
The oil field is pumping. If anybody's telling you the oil field is down right now, it might be because they don't have a good connection to get into the oil field right now. But it is up and thriving and pumping. Of course, we have had the presidential election, and it's put a speed bumps in a lot of things, and it's closed a lot of doors. But for the most part, it is still pumping. It is still going. You just have to keep your faith. That's my biggest advice. Keep your faith in it. If you want to be involved in that, then you're gonna have to be involved in it. You know, put your mind into the news about what's going on with the oil and gas, and educate yourself. All right, our next question comes in from Enriquez 42.
Okay, what's the best way to get into the industry as a rig welder?
If you're a rig welder and you're looking to get into this industry, the best thing to do is search for that welding test. Ask your buddies who got the rigs or that know these companies, where are they testing? Who are they testing? You got to find a test. If you're a rig welder, you're most likely to the calibration to go out there and pass those tests. Not always are able to come in and pass these tests, because some of my students come in fully rigged out and they need a little bit of a kind of guidance, I would call it, just to or I call it confidence, to show them that they are making the right moves, and maybe just guide their hand just a little bit to show them a little bit of tricks. But I hope that answers your question, man. Our next question comes in from Candice.
How do I get a helper job so I can learn to fab?
So pretty much being a helper, you're going to need to know how to fab already if you're trying to obtain that helper position. A rig welder isn't going to want a helper that doesn't know how to fab, but there are rig welders and companies that are willing to take on people that don't have any experience. It's very rare, but it's not rare. People do get into the industry. So my advice is, you know, you're going to have to really know somebody to get into this industry. The rig welding industry is who you know. And I hate to say it like this, but sometimes they say it's who you blow. And so you either got really good friends in the industry that are going to help you out and get you in, or you're going to have to find a way in. Sometimes people call it weaseling your way in or worming your way in, coming in under the radar. Like I did when I very first started off. You know, I started off as a floor sweeper, not in the pipe industry, but just the welding industry in a shop. So you're just going to have to find an angle like that and work that angle. As far as experience, there are places that you can go to a shop and learn that experience beforehand, before you even try to become a helper. And that would be my advice. Learn how to fit and fab before you become a helper, so that way you're more valuable to a welder and he will help you out. All right, Candice, I hope that answers your question. Our next question comes in from Anthony_oil.
Any tips on how to run 70/18, both 3/32 and 1/8 uphill?
Okay, yeah, so there is a lot of tricks depending on your technique. Of course, everybody likes to say you need to pause on the side. Well, you're only going to pause on the side if you're full in the middle. And if you're not full in the middle and you pause on the side, it's going to undercut it. So you need to make sure that you're full in the middle, so when you get to the side, it can spread over and not take metal from it. As soon as you're there and you see your metal spread over, you need to move over right away. And a lot of times I'm telling people, you got to forget about the middle. A lot of people will just kind of take their time getting across the middle. It's not that. It's a really quick swipe. Swipe to the side, pause for a second, swipe to the other side, pause for a second. Watch your puddle spread. I hope that helps you, man. That's the best advice I can get for that kind of a question. All right, our next question comes in from Matt Sparks.
Advice on breaking out on fab jobs in the field. Who to contact to get into that?
So again, do your research. Get on the web. Look for companies in your area. Search those companies in your area. Get a good contact numbers of lists and start making those phone calls. Start offering your services. Get an email maybe from them and send them over a description of who you are and services that you have to offer. That would be one of the best ways to really get out there and advertise yourself to these companies. Again, it's back to knowing who to contact too. You got friends, ask them who's hiring and who's got who. They might be able to take care of you. All right. We got our next question coming in from Michael Rodriguez.
Having trouble with 7018 from 6 to 4 o'clock. Too much undercut. Any tips on how to fix it?
Yeah, so basically, kind of like what I was saying before to the last 7018 question, if you're not full enough, it's definitely going to be pulling metal from your side to try to fill the middle. So when you're capping out, or if you're trying to fill, you really need to be pausing on those sides and holding it just for a second to watch your puddle spread. As soon as your puddle has spread, you need to move. You need to move out of there quick. Any longer, and you're either going to pull the metal off the side and lump it down on your weld, or you're going to pull it away from the side, and it's going to be, you know, in the middle, and you're just not going to be flush enough. It's going to look like a really wavy cap because you're not full. My biggest advice is you need to be full. You need to be flushed out. And when I mean flushed out, surface to the pipe all the way before you start attempting that cap. Thank me later. Okay. Our next question goes on to Rent Arc because he needs to rent some arc. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Rent Arc. That was a great name. I like it.
Do you ever use boiler rods downhill?
You know, I've actually heard of the boiler low-high rods, and I have not yet got to get my hands on them and give them a shot, but I have no problem in getting a can of those and showing you guys what I got. I'll show you my best shot. All right, our next question comes in from Jorden Agilar.
Having trouble with undercut on bottom portion of pipe for 5G. Any suggestions?
I love this. Yes. Make sure you're flushed. Make sure you're flushed all the way out. You have to be flushed with your material before you can start capping it to get a nice presentable cap. Otherwise, you're going to undercut it. And another thing too is if you're moving too fast off your side wall before you let your puddle build up, you're going to undercut it. So my best advice is to pause for a second, watch your puddle spread, and then quickly move over to your other side. Don't mess around in the middle. The middle isn't for filling. It's just for swiping over and getting to it. The puddle will take care of all by itself when you swipe over. It'll fill that middle in. Gravity will automatically fill that middle in when you're swiping over. So don't worry about it. That's how you're going to get that nice flat cap. You will, you will. All right, our next question comes in from Gus TV because he's looking for another superstar. I'm just kidding.
What industry in welding can you make the best money?
So to be honest, I think any part of the welding industry aspect, you can make the most money. It's just about how you are going to secure the work enough to get the money for it. You can go to a job and work a job and you can make a lot of money, and if that's the answer you're looking for, then maybe possibly going and working for a pipeline company and getting out there and pipelining. In that case there, you're going to make the most money on land. If you're looking to go deep sea diving, there's some good money in underwater welding as well too, I've been told. As far as like other welding, I know for a fact you're going to have to build your reputation and build your company up to get the clientele to make the good money. But welding is good all around for all of it. All right, our next question comes in from Master Splinter 45. He must be a Teenage Ninja Turtle fan.
Yeah, you're thinking probably so. What 7018 do you prefer? Lincoln, Hobart, ESAB?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm not really picky when it comes to welding rods, especially for most of my years I worked for the company, so it was whatever they were furnishing for me I would use. I've had very good luck with all the rods. Hobart, Lincoln, ESAB. There's some other off brands out there that I've used. I like them all. I think they all burn really well. I think as long as the rod is kept in good condition and you have a good skill technique, I think all the rods kind of pretty much do the same thing. I really haven't ever gone across a low hydrogen rod that I didn't like. Now, as far as like downhill rods, there's been a couple different downhill rods I'm not too big of a fan of, but as far as low high rods, I'm a fan of all of them. Our next question comes in from Curtis O'Leary.
What are the company's plans if Biden signs an executive order on vaccine mandates? Are there a bunch of people vaccinated or not so much?
According to, I believe, the U.S., what they've put out there as far as people being vaccinated, they said that 75% of the United States has been vaccinated, which says that 25% of the people in the United States are not vaccinated. That's my knowledge. Now, as far as the companies mandating it, from what I've been told and what I understand is if they have more than 100 employees that work for the company, that they're going to mandate that their employees be vaccinated. Now, don't quote me for this. It could not be actual fact, but this was the last I knew for research. Now, my advice on that is, that's your choice. You want to be vaccinated? That's your choice. You don't want to be vaccinated? That's your choice. Do I care? No. I'm still your friend at the end of the day, whether you choose whatever you want to do with your body. That decision is solely up to you. If the companies mandate it, like I said, it'll be up to you to work for the company and get vaccinated, or to find a company that you don't have to be vaccinated for. My next question comes in from Alan Sanchez.
How can welders, helpers, or tack welders break out to full-blown welders in your field of work?
So if you're in any of those positions, you're already headed on the right path. You're already headed for your destiny of being a welder. Keep after it. Keep showing up on time every day. Keep putting in that extra effort, because as a young buck in the industry, that's the only thing that gets you noticed is your efforts. I know when I was breaking out and I was trying to do it, the only thing that made me shine was my work. And so let your work shine for you. You're a good buffer, buff the shit out of it. You're a good grinder, grind the hell out of it. If you're good at picking up trash and cleaning up, by hell, do it. If you're just a friendly person and you help out, don't stop doing it. Show everybody that you're the friendly, helping person and you're willing to get dirty, because that right there will carry you a long ways. I know that I've gotten in trenches and ditches that nobody wanted to get on, and I'll tell you what, it carried me to the next job while everybody else got ran off. So work harder sometimes, but also work smarter most of the time. Don't be dumb out there. Don't make stupid decisions. All right, my last question comes in today from Ryan A. Bond.
Did you work with my dad, Blue, at Colorado Railcar?
Well, yes, I did, Blue, and after 14 years, I was able to talk to my friend Blue again, and I lost contact with Blue many years ago. So, Ryan, thank you very much for reaching out to me. It means a lot to me, man. I was able to talk with some other friends and get in contact with some other people that I haven't seen in a long time, you know, from the beginning of my welding industry, some people that had really been there for me and helped mold my welding career. So, you know, it was great that the social media can bring people together like that, and I'm very happy and I'm very thankful for you, Ryan, for being just engaged in the welding community, man. You're here in Colorado, so if you got anything, you got my number now, hit me up. Other than that, guys, I hope you have more questions, because I got more answers for you. And if you got more questions and answers, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to tell me where you are in the world or in the United States, period. I just want to know where everyone's kind of tuning in from. And other than that, I love you guys. You know, if you got anything else to say it in the comments, positive or negative, I don't care. Other than that, I'm out. We'll wrap to you later. Peace. Hey, thanks for coming by, guys. Please make sure you subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, because when I drop these videos, you're going to want to be notified.